Okay, so if we get started with the 4 markers, now don't forget you're going to get 4 markers on paper 1 and paper 2, and you're going to get 2 of them per question. So it's going to be 4, 4, 4, 4. You're going to have quite a lot of 4s to be doing. 2 types of 4 markers. They can either be numerical or they can be written. Let's just go through the structure for each. For a 4-marker calculation, simple, full calculation with all workings and formula shown. So we're looking really for 4 steps. You're looking for number identification, written formula, and the right answer with full workings. Plus, you're going to be looking at the correct kind of sign or the correct form. So if it's a percentage, put in a percentage. If it's currency, pounds, dollars, yen, euros, whatever, so you need to know that. So for example, here, if you've got a question looking at supply and demand, we've got no question there, but someone has simply shifted supply outwards. What they're getting is they're getting 1 mark for labeling the axes, so P, Q. They've got 1 mark for correctly drawing supply and demand, so upward sloping supply, downward sloping demand, and 2 marks for the shift, so supply moving outwards, more supply, and also the annotation. So if you take a look at this, looking at the equilibriums, the original supply and demand, P1 to Q1, now we've got supply moving outwards, prices have come down to P1 to P2, and we have got Q1 to Q2. If you're asked for a written 4-marker, here is what we are looking for. You're going to be getting 1 mark for knowledge, 2 for application, and 1 mark for 1 line of analysis. Okay, so to break it down, start with the definition. You need the definition in there. 2 points of application. So use 2 bits of evidence from the case study, which will link to the question. Don't just quote it. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples in a minute. You can see how to score 4 out of 4. And then your linked analysis is linking back to the question. Think about it, we're on a mark a minute, so a 4-marker should not be more than 4 to 5 lines. Okay, let me show you, and the students' names are on there. They have long left us, so don't worry too much about that. This student here, it was a 2018 paper. Using a data in extract B, calculate the margin of safety, show your workings. So straight away what she's done, and you can see there, she's got 4 out of 4 for question 1B. That was what Edexcel have said. The margin of safety, the formula, sales volume less the break-even point. She's then, a little bit dodgy, but not too bad, she's given the formula to the right-hand side. So the formula for break-even, using the contribution, obviously fixed cost over SP minus BC. She's then extracted the data, 3 million over 5 selling price minus 2 variable cost. Really, I'm not a professional marker by any means, but I would maybe prefer to see this part of the calculation underneath part 1 and part 2. Anyway, that's me being picky. So it's 3 million divided by 3, which is 3 million divided by 5 minus 2, equals 1 million. So 1, 2, and 3, if you're just following my mouse there, is going to get you the break-even point. The data in extract B says that the sales volume is 1.5 million, so they're currently selling 1.5 million units. Their break-even point, as we've just worked out, is the 1 million. So it's 1.5 million current sales minus the million break-even point equals 500,000 units as a margin of safety. And she's also underlined the overall answer, so the examiner is in kind of no doubt that that's what her answer is. Okay, I know that sounds obvious, but these examiners have got to mark a lot of similar looking questions. They just want their eyes drawn to the workings and the final answer. Let's go to Josephine's paper then. This is a different paper, and it's, again, you can see there where I'm pointing my mouse, 4 out of 4. The question says, using the data from extract A and your knowledge of the product life cycle, one way in which the marketing of music streaming might be different in 2010 compared to 2019. Now, don't forget what we're looking for here. We're looking for kind of a definition, or there's some knowledge going on, 2 things from the case study which point out how the marketing of music streaming is going to be different, then some kind of a link back. So, one way in which the marketing of music streaming might be different in 2010 compared to 2019, in that it has increased tremendously from 7.7 million to, here goes the write-in, to 204.5. In 2010, it was in its infancy, so music streaming was very young at that point, and it was just introduced as a new way of listening to music. However, it's now grown and at maturity with 204.5 million subscribers in 2019. It's grown through competition, and it's one of the only ways people listen to music now through subscriptions to streaming sites. Now, this is an interesting one. There's something that I'm not seeing, even though they've given 4 out of 4. She's got data, so that's one bit, 7.7 million, 204.75 million. That's come from the case study. Okay, I see what she's done there. She's then spoken about the idea of competition from the case study, linked it back through subscriptions, but yet she's gaining knowledge there by talking about the maturity stage of the product life cycle and the introductory stage of the product life cycle. So that's getting her knowledge mark. So one, for the for the usage of maturity and introduction. Two, for the usage of figures and the idea of increased competition. And then that last bit of analysis, that link bit of analysis, is that people are subscribing through streaming sites. So that's your 4 markers.